Live from Geeky Teas in beautiful downtown Burbank, it's Steele Wars Live! Please welcome your host, Steele Saunders.
Thank you, Rashad. I didn't mean to step on your introduction and walk out halfway, but I just felt so welcomed. You did so good.
Thank you.
Nice. Rashad, everyone, the producer. How's it feeling in the seat?
Feeling very good.
Nice.
Got the power, you know?
What power is that? What power is that, buddy?
It's the power of love.
It's a beautiful thing.
I've been listening to a lot of Huey Lewis.
I hear it makes one man dance and another man sing. We've violated copyright infringement there and art. So that is good. But we are here for the Steele Wars 2019 Prediction Show, which is very exciting. Good woos. I applaud you on that. And after last year, how are you going to predict this year? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you predict anything when you've got Jason Ward predicting that Nick Nolte's going to be an Ugnaught? Like, you can't compete with things that are actually happening. But people can call in if you're listening online, and we've got emails from around the world, from listeners, from podcasters, and the audience members can predict as well. And then at the end of the year, we will review who was right and who was so wrong, and we'll award the Fortune Teller of the Year, which is a very prestigious prize. If you've got a Star Wars news prediction for 2019, and let's face it, who doesn't, join the fun and write it in the comments section below. And while you're at it, give the video a quick thumbs up and hit subscribe so you never miss a Steele Wars video. We have got some of my favourite Star Wars fans and also Bart Freebarn here to talk about the predictions. So let's get a round of applause for one of my favourite podcasts, Who Talks First, and the merch site Squadron Goals. Please welcome Courtney Everett. Grab a seat. From Sci-Fi Fangirls and Nerdist, one of the great comedians on the LA scene, it's Riley Silverman. His credits include Food Wizard all the way from Australia. We've broken the budget. Please welcome my great friend, Bart Freebarn. Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Good. I feel like none of us are going to top that this guy's on the radio moment.
Yeah.
I feel like,
It's pretty good.
I feel like you really like cuss out the knees at the start of this podcast.
Yeah, you can't reference things that I'm going to edit out of the show, Riley. That is very cruel. You know how podcasts work.
Which means we have to reference it constantly for the next hour, all right?
Man, I like that bit where you did that crazy stunt at the beginning.
Yeah, well, I can balance on one hand and levitate rocks.
You know how to use it. You know how to use a doodle. That's all I'm saying.
Nice. Courtney.
Yep.
Full props for the outfit.
Thank you.
You are like, it's so weird because that costume, I'm so ingrained with the 3 3/4 inch figure. So it's just like, you're very tall now. That's what I'm trying to say. And less plastic.
Yes, yeah, I am less plastic now. Yeah, this is from Elle Hoffer Design, if anyone's interested. But she just released this, and it's very comfortable.
Nice.
Yeah.
And who are you dressed as, Riley?
As Riley Silverman, she's a fan of Star Wars.
Jyn Erso fan.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. This was just like a Hot Topic Star Wars collection thing, and then I'm wearing a Kira t-shirt, so from a retailer called Target.
I hear it's something we should stay on.
Yeah.
Bart Freebarn, who are you wearing? Thank you, Everett. That is great. I appreciate that.
I'm Emperor Palpatine the early days.
Smart casual.
Yeah, smart casual. Just when he was hitting the gym a bit before he got into politics.
Little athleisure.
Yeah,
maybe?
that's right. Yeah, he'd like to go cash.
Nice.
Then he was like, "Oh, robes are even better." And he stepped up.
Rashad, you've got shades of a young George Lucas going on over there. You got
bit.
the beard, the flannel.
It's the grunge years.
Nice.
Yeah, Nirvana. Yeah.
I should say probably the easiest cosplay for a Star Wars fan to nail is young George Lucas.
Well, Jason Ward does it
You
daily.
just need a beard and a flannel and a hat, and you're good to go.
My shoe game's much stronger, though. I think.
Wow.
Oh.
Fighting words.
Shots fired.
Yeah, I'm like, those are fighting words. You've seen, they were pretty good shoes.
Now, it would be remiss of me to not use the word remiss as much as possible, but we should review the winner of last year's prediction show. The voting closed just hours ago. And the finalists were, and this will give you everyone a good tip on how to predict everyone. These are sort of predictions that get into the finals. Now, Mr. Sunday Movies, he predicted that Solo would be fine and that a new animated series would be announced, right? That came in with 26%. 19% picked Rusty Brown's pick of Chewbacca will rip off someone's arms in Solo, which is a pretty good in-universe guess. And Josh Chapman in Australia, he guessed that there would be questionable The Last Jedi fan edits after the film's release. And bang on. Thank you, YouTube. But the winner with 33% of the vote was Jordan O'Mara, who predicted that after the release of Solo, Lucasfilm Limited would rethink their film plans. Which, when he said it on the show, I was like, you're tripping, dude. Like, that's, Star Wars, it's going to kill it every time. But I was young and innocent back then. So young and innocent. It was very sad. So Jordan actually is at work right now in Australia, but he is the winner. He is the winner.
It's weird to say congratulations on that one. It's like, congrats? Good call.
Yeah, well, that's like all the predictions have been coming in this week, and some of them was like, "Oh, please let you be a finalist next year," and other ones are just like, that is really shocking. But I'm going to go to a few predictors online that are on hold. 859. Who are you and where are you calling from?
This is Peter with a P. I'm calling in from Lexington, Kentucky. How's it going, Steele?
I'm good. Peter, what is your prediction for 2019?
So for 2019, my prediction is about Lando Calrissian. I think that this year we're going to learn, whether it's from books or comics or movies, that Lando is the person who gave Anakin's lightsaber to Maz Kanata.
Ooh. A story for another time, I believe was the quote. Peter, that is an exceptionally interesting prediction, man. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Thank you for having me.
All righty. Let's go to 218. Who are you and where are you calling from?
This is Jonathan from Houston, Texas.
Hey, Jonathan in Houston, Texas. What is your prediction?
My prediction is that by the end of Episode 9, both Kylo and Rey will have made the ultimate sacrifice and have become one with the Force. Only through their combined efforts will the galaxy have been saved.
Ooh. How do they, they sacrifice themselves? They like Luke Skywalker became one with the Force? Is that what you mean?
In a sense, but not I'm trying not to be super specific so I don't get that prediction wrong, but I don't think it'll be right anyway, so there you go. But my idea was something to the effect of maybe Rey acts first with only the belief, but not the, it's like a certain, understanding that Kylo will follow through, and that act is what finally brings Kylo all the way back to the light, and he follows suit. And therefore, the day is saved. However, the day might be saved, whatever the actual in-game is.
Interesting. I like it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Now, Courtney.
I'm like, you're going to go straight to me, aren't you?
You've got a firm belief about the end of episode 9. I like. Give us your not prediction.
Hold on, guys. I'm going to spoil episode 9 for you right here, right now. So, if you don't want to hear the ending, leave. The Resistance is going to win. You heard it here first, guys. The good guys are going to come through in the end. That's the end of episode 9, is that the resistance comes through at the end and wins.
It'd be so.
Thank you, everyone. I won next year's thing.
100%.
Yep.
But, you live in that Raylo life. How do you feel about that prediction?
I don't mind it. I mean, I'm just like a firm believer in finding out what does balancing the force mean. So I think there's a possible solution in that prediction. Do I want to see them survive? Absolutely. But of course, we won't know that until we know that. All we know for sure is that the Resistance is definitely going to win over the First Order.
Wow, huge spoiler.
Yeah,
huge spoiler.
I know.
Did you read that on Reddit?
Yeah, it was a Reddit leak, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Boy, they're not being great at keeping spoilers locked down this time around.
No, right?
Interesting.
The whole ending just got released.
Wow.
Yeah.
I heard that Rey is going to ignite her lightsaber at some point during the movie.
That's nuts.
No, but what color will it be?
Well, if it's her current lightsaber, it'll be blue. But I want it to be green because I want you to be happy.
There is a lot of people pandering to me in these predictions. Like, I try not to read too many, but there was a couple where I was just like, "You're doing that for me." A lot of green talk and a lot of Raylo talk. It is going to be a hotly debated thing. Bart, do you even know what Raylo is?
Yeah, man. Yeah, fully. It's a fabric that you... It's like Raylon, but Raylo, it's just a little bit lighter.
What my dress is made out of, actually.
It's like Gore-Tex. It's like Marbo. No, it's them getting together, right?
It is.
Yeah, so that is linked to my vague prediction that a greater evil will roll in and they combine somehow to balance the force. That's my theory.
Okay, but let's define. Has Raylo already... Because people say, is Raylo going to happen? But they're sort of already linked. How do you define that?
It's really hard to define, really, but honestly, it kind of just started out with, we want the answer of why do we need the dark side? Why does the dark side keep coming back? So Snoke in The Last Jedi, he's like, oh, well, as long as one exists, the other one's going to keep happening. So if we just kind of kill Kylo without any resolution, some other guys just kind of come back for episode 10, 11, 12. And I think episode 9...
Or girl, sexist.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. But we all know men are the worst. I shouldn't be saying that. I'm sorry.
Feel free.
There we go.
Time for a female villain.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be...
With a face. One with actually a face that we can see.
Yeah, or extra, like multiple faces.
Yeah.
Hey, women with faces are one of my favorites.
Yeah.
We're pandering to you, so...
I love getting pandered to.
I think we'll bring back Phasma again, but also still not give her an actual story.
What about if
just bring her back just to have a couple of scenery chewing lines, and then we'll throw her down a bigger distance.
Is she? So she comes
She'll
back.
fall off a planet this time.
Each time more robotic, like more bits of her replaced.
Yeah.
New face, less face.
Yeah, she'll actually have the Darth Maul spider legs at the end of. Yeah,
there'll be one movie where she's falling for the whole movie. It's just her falling for the whole movie.
Yeah, it'll be like a think piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phasma's going to turn out to a bit of an itchy and scratchy show, I think. Like, just crazy things happening. Hey, 571, who are you and where you're calling from?
Well, hey, Steele, this is Dante DeMille from Alexandria, Virginia.
Dante DeMille, how you doing, buddy?
With a D.
Doing pretty good. How about y'all?
Nice. What is your prediction?
As a follow-up to my last prediction of no movies announced, I'm going to say the Obi-Wan movie is going to get announced this year.
So the Obi-Wan will be announced this year?
It will be announced this year.
Nice. Interesting. That would be...
Solid.
I know a lot of people are holding out hope, and that's where rebellion starts, so I've heard. But that they'll announce it at Celebration, and Ewan McGregor will come out, and we'll all cheer and dance and have a great time. So that would be doubly good for you, Dante, if you're at Celebration, you see Ewan McGregor, and you're also just like, I'm a lock for that 2019 prediction show. So I appreciate that, man.
That would be splendid.
Thanks so much for your prediction, and I'll talk to you soon, mate.
Yep, see ya.
See, I actually, before that was put on hold, when they first were talking about it as a rumor, I actually took that as a sign that I felt like Obi-Wan was going to be significant to Episode 9, because I'm like, oh, why would they pick this point in time to make the Obi-Wan movie? And then I was like, oh, maybe that's why. Maybe they'll do it in Episode 9, because like Solo came out this year, and Han was obviously not in Last Jedi, so it was like, well, now we have a good time to like do a Han thing. So I felt like, oh, they'll bring Obi-Wan back into a movie and then have his own spin-off a year later. But obviously, that might not be the case anymore.
I am hoping for a Force Ghost party in Episode 9.
Oh yeah,
I want to see like the Jedi Council, but they're all
The Ghost Council?
Yeah, even the ghosts are...
There's actually too many, and they have to do Force Ghostbusters. They have to get rid of some of them. It's like there's too many in the temple. They're wrecking stuff. We need to... Who are we going to call?
They're actually going to make them all female Force Ghostbusters just to really piss off the internet. Like,
I would endorse that. People would just go like,
yeah.
What? But
like,
the first...
Their ultimate goal is to see how much of a gap they can get between the actual Rotten Tomatoes reviews and then the fan-submitted Rotten Tomatoes
One is 7,000% and the other is negative 8 million. Yeah.
Well, you know what they say about Force Ghost parties, right? There ain't no party like a Force Ghost party, because Force Ghost parties don't stop until there's a female ghost. I'm just going to leave. That's my prediction.
I love that we all just let you hang on that line.
Just let me no support. Great
Where's
guys.
he going? Where's he going? I've got a topper prediction for the Obi-Wan movie, which is Ezra Bridger appears in it.
Oh.
In Episode 9?
No, in the Obi-Wan spin-off.
Wow, so you're doing predictions about predictions.
Yeah.
That is deep.
Yeah,
that
man.
That is
if it comes
deep.
off, I'm going to be rich.
That prediction needs a little spinning top so we know what our reality
What's
is.
real, yeah.
That's so good.
I do predict that Mandalorian's going to be pretty decent. And I think that the people who are going to say like it's so much better than Last Jedi are going to have no self-awareness of the fact that Kathleen Kennedy still is the producer of Lucasfilm and like greenlit Mandalorian is as involved with it as she is with Last Jedi. But there's going to be none of that. It's going to be they're not going to give her a trace of credit for how good the show is actually going to be.
Because she'll have a new face.
Excellent. Let's go to, this might be King Tom, 614. Who are you and where are you calling from?
Sorry to disappoint, Steele. It's Rebecca in Perth.
Hey, Rebecca in Perth. What's going on over there?
Nothing much. It's another day at work for me. But trying to tune in and listen. But can I only hear you? Can I hear everyone else that's on the panel there?
It's a little thing I like to call technical issues, and it's all part of being a podcaster, Rebecca. So, yes.
Technical issues only mean one thing.
Steele Wars if there was technical issues.
Well, it's actually... Bart's just saying things so heinous that he's just getting censored by the internet.
Yeah, I've been swearing. I've been saying bad stuff.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Look, I'll be quick with mine. First of all, before I get to my prediction, Riley Silverman, her 13th Doctor cosplay is on point. I know that's off brand for this podcast, but just had to be put out there. Secondly, my prediction. The First Order will have a Star Destroyer that's a bit of a throwback to one of the Clone Wars era ships, similar to the Venator class, where a section opens up, but inside that section will be a super laser siege cannon that's sort of very increased in size. It's not quite got the power of the Death Star, but it's certainly more than what they had for the Battle of Crete. And give it 4 or 5 shots and that sucker can blow up a planet. So that from the outside, it just looks like a normal Star Destroyer.
Interesting. I just want that one to be true for the Lego. That would be sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks so much, Rebecca. I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. We do. Hooroo.
Steele, it sounded like she paid me a compliment, but I couldn't understand what was being said. Can you translate through disruption for me?
Do you want me to translate Australian?
Australian through a speaker disruption, yes.
Excellent. I think she said the 13th Doctor is the best.
Okay.
Is the newest Doctor the 13th Doctor?
Yeah.
Okay. It's
pretty big fan. I mean, I'm still a pretty big Peter Capaldi fan, but I also do like Jodie Whittaker a lot. So
I
know it's the wrong show, but that came up.
I know it's like bringing up sport. It just makes me itchy.
Can I just, as a bit of an idiot in the Star Wars universe, has a Star Destroyer ever destroyed a star? Like, is that what they've called it that, or are they just aspiring?
Well, there was
Laura Dern was destroyed into a Star Destroyer.
All right.
And she's a star. Like
that's the joke I was going for.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So Okay, so then
Explain all your jokes because I don't get them.
Yeah, I'm not. It wasn't a good joke because nobody else laughed at it either. So
everyone was
that's
like,
not on you. That one's on me.
yeah. So that's that, but they, they've been called that for ages. So
That's true.
For
a long time.
For as long as they've been around.
Yeah, someone called them out a long time ago.
Yeah, were they like making it and went, man, these are gonna stars, like destroy them, and then they make them and they're like,
Do you think that Lucas named it like same as like Star Wars, where it was like it's a destroyer and it's a star destroyer?
Yeah.
Like it's just that they just like threw star.
Oh yeah,
on
they're
every
putting
word
star in
they
front
were-
of. So it's like,
That's my theory.
do you want your star burger with your star chips? Yes, I would like star fries. Yeah.
No, I just think like the guy that built it was being like a adulting parent. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, hey, destroyer, you're a star. And he like grabbed it on the cheek, which is that little force field thing on the side, and just went, you're a star, and it just stuck.
Yeah.
And this destroyer does a great job.
Was his name?
And you're a superstar destroyer.
Oh yeah.
Let's go to the final person that's on hold, 724. Who are you and where are you calling from?
Hi, Steele. This is actually Jared the Dark Jedi from the Do Back Discussion podcast.
How you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I am doing well. Do you have a prediction to unleash on the show?
Yes, I do. Appropriate for the panel you have on there. I'm hopping on, not necessarily hopping on the Reylo bandwagon, but saying Rey and Ben Solo are going to end up together by the end of episode 9, and we are going to be seeing Ben Solo piloting the Millennium Falcon.
Ooh.
That's what I want.
Bring it, man! All right. Thanks for that. Courtney's now on the ground, foaming at the mouth. It's
true.
I just heard one voice from the darkness go, "No."
Like, who wants to fight?
It's true. Co-piloting, maybe.
Yeah, together.
Yeah, you can co-pilot.
Wait, why is someone firing Chewie now? This whole thing is falling apart.
He can be a gunner. He'll be down.
Then
with
again,
anything.
like Lando flew the Falcon in Jedi, so like it's okay. Like maybe Rey's busy. Like maybe Rey's got other stuff going on.
Someone
That's
needs
why.
to be a gunner, man.
Yeah, that's fair.
There is a lot of Reylo predictions, but adding the like things like adding a little detail like and they'll fly the Millennium Falcon together. That's what wins your prediction contest, you guys. But thanks so much for that. That's a great one.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Nice.
Can't wait to hear the show.
Cheers. Thanks. If anyone is listening online and they want to call in, it is 646-668-8360. And we will take your prediction. If anyone in the audience has a prediction, just go over and see the producer, Rashad.
That's me.
And
Hi.
we will, I'll get through a few of the email ones from our patrons.
Oh, Steele, we got one.
Okay, yeah.
Whoa, everybody in the audience is lining up.
Yeah, we'll mix it up. We'll mix it
It
up.
ain't no party like an audience prediction party, because an audience prediction party only goes till the line is done. And then we move on to other
Now we
things.
have to leave Rashad's line in, so that makes sense. This is very complicated.
Wait. You were going to cut that out? That was gold.
Or you can cut the
That's
thing I
gold,
did out.
Steele.
But you're editing it, aren't you?
Star Gold.
Or a Steele?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But very naive. David Roberts says, "Hi, Steele. Hope you had a great Christmas and a New Year." I did. My prediction that a large chunk of people will respond to Episode 9 by saying JJ saved The Last Jedi because a lot of people will find the second part of the trilogy much more understandable in the context of the whole trilogy. Now, that is very hard prediction to quantify because Star Wars fans just don't agree. Ever since, I think from 1978, they decided, let's argue for the next few decades.
Yeah, I feel like the same people who hated Last Jedi for being too complicated hated Force Awakens for being too simplified. Like I feel like there's no like they're the exact same people who hated it. They hated it for the same reason, and that's that there's a female lead and a black stormtrooper. But that's the like.
But if you follow the ancient prophecy of Goldilocks,
Yeah, this is what I'm
That's
thinking.
true.
the third one they should
Perfect.
love.
Just right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a degree of, and I don't want to. I know I just kind of like painted the blanket brush of like everyone who hated it is a toxic fan. That's not what I really feel. But I do think that there's a certain contingent of fans that we're never going to actually get back. And like, good riddance as far as I'm concerned. But like, there's a certain group that are never ever going to reconcile that the sequel trilogy is quality. Like it's always going to be just that no matter what happens in the next movie, they've already written it off.
Yeah, I've been thinking about like box office. You know, people like Star Wars Explained did a video this week about the box office and if Avengers will beat Star Wars and stuff. And I'm kind of like, let Avengers win. Like there's enough Star Wars fans. Like I don't like this is surprising, and there are rumors on the internet like that dispel this, but I don't actually get any money from Disney, how well the films do. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter to me. I just like I've got my group of friends. We enjoy Star Wars, and like if like go watch Thanos like be evil with his glove. That's
They're
cool.
both like it's like 1 and 2, isn't it? It's like they're so high. You're losing some fans from a mountain. How are you going to notice? Really?
My philosophy is I would rather Star Wars I want Star Wars to make money enough to make there be more Star Wars, and that's all I care about. But like I feel like I actually almost don't want Star Wars to be the biggest money making thing out there, because I feel like with that level of success comes a certain level of more scrutiny upon what's being done with it, and I would almost rather Star Wars be making enough money that they can like do more fun and interesting things with it once they get beyond this trilogy.
Some indie Star Wars.
Well, like talking about like the Kenobi movie. Like if they make the Kenobi movie, I don't want it to be a huge epic Kenobi movie. I want it to be all set on Mos Eisley. I want it to be way more stripped down, and I want that ability to do that. And I don't think that Disney would ever greenlight that if they're always making billions of dollars on every movie.
Yeah, so it's like every Marvel movie is a epic, huge battle.
Yeah.
You just want one where it's like more lost in translation, where it's just Obi-Wan
exactly.
in a hotel room, kind of just trying to figure out his life.
I want something more like on like the Logan level.
Yeah.
Of like,
all right. Yeah.
I want like a Logan level of Star Wars.
Yeah, which is
or like
amazing.
even Ant-Man if we're gonna go with Marvel. Like the Ant-Man movies are like fun and just
they
like
were really good.
quirky.
Yeah, they're heisty.
Which is kind of what Solo is, but then Solo has to at the end squeeze in that whole like this is the origin of the Empire and the rebellion, and like all right guys, we were just having a great heist movie.
Well, you could see Solo had a up and down production anyway. 2 different directors. Or there's a lot of voices.
Paul Rudd as Ben Kenobi would be pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah, it would be really good.
I like it.
And he's still got the Ant-Man suit.
He wouldn't age ever, so you could finally have an actor that plays him consistently for decades.
Yeah.
He is timeless.
He'd be the exact opposite of the Ewan McGregor Alec Guinness thing, where he aged way more in like 19 years than he should have.
Well, if they're going to make the continuity fit together for Kenobi, I've been thinking about there has to be a scene where he's on Tatooine with one of those sunbaking metal things to show why he aged so much.
There's not enough sunscreen.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Or he goes to Mos Eisley and they're sold out of sunscreen. He goes, oh, well, I guess I'll never wear it.
That's why he let Vader cut him down, because he had a stage 4 melanoma.
Let me get that.
Yeah. He's like, dude, I'm dead in 3 weeks. I don't care.
Let's go to our first in-audience prediction. Introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Steele. This is David Spencer.
Dave, I like your Rose t-shirt.
Thank you. She's the best. So my prediction is, and this is something that I really want to have happen. It's something I've been really hoping happened since I first found out that people didn't like The Last Jedi. Sometime in the lead up to Episode 9, and this could very likely happen at something like Celebration, I predict there is going to be a conversation between Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams about their movies. I think seeing those two talk to each other about their movies would be so fascinating, because I imagine all the talk of, well, Rian Johnson ruined this thing that JJ did and this and that. I imagine those two have such a huge appreciation for each other, and that's probably one of the best things that Lucasfilm can do to lead up to be able to say, hey, we're all on the same team, guys. We all want a good movie. So
it's a unified vision.
Yeah. And I think just having that, being able to see fans, see the creators talking about it and caring about it as much as fans care about it, I want to have that happen.
Nice. And how would this be at Celebration? Or
I don't know, maybe a panel at Celebration.
at your house, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, guys, come over. So my address, JJ and Ryan, is. I mean, it sounds like a perfect thing for Star Wars Celebration. I mean, or like that amazing the 40th anniversary conversations with the different generations was one of the coolest things that I've seen happen in Star Wars fan community, and the Ryan Johnson has always been super accessible to people. JJ has been usually really accessible to people. I'm surprised that it hasn't happened yet, based off of how much, especially those two guys, love talking about their movies and what they enjoy and what their thought process is. It's kind of amazing that it hasn't happened, in my opinion.
I think we'll see more of that after they're done. I think like when they're no longer making Star Wars movies, or like when they're not like in the middle of making Star Wars movies, they might have that more of a thing.
Like an actor's studio.
Yeah, well, there was, I think it was on the Infinity War Blu-ray, they had all the Marvel, or a bunch of Marvel directors like in a round table, and I didn't watch it because like I'm not into the films enough to want to watch that, but I was sort of like, oh, like I was jealous of Marvel fans. I'd love, like imagine like getting like JJ, Ryan, Irvin Kershner, we could like just reanimate him. Richard Marquand. That would just be George
Lucas. Footage of him they shot previously, and they're going to re-edit it together to be one performance of him giving somebody in this future setting.
Or even better, you have like JJ and Ryan. They have a round table, and then there's a round table of like all the fired directors.
Just on a little kiddies table off to the side.
Excellent prediction, David. Appreciate it.
See, I would actually like to hear from Lord and Miller and then nothing from Colin Trevorrow. So can we make that happen somehow? Can we make like, that be the way it works?
You know, there is a very good chance that prediction will come true. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the DGA podcast. That's the Directors Guild of America. A little inside information for you guys.
Yeah.
But they have, usually when there's kind of big screenings happening in LA, they have a director come and do a Q&A by another director. So Ryan,
that's question and answer, everyone, for not in show business.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that's very possible that they would do something like that.
I like that you just explained a Q&A to people who are lining up for a Q&A.
I was more just making fun of Rashad, but let's go to Michael Nipp's prediction. There will be a Return of the Jedi moment. That's just enough for me. I don't even know what he's referencing.
You mean green lightsaber?
Oh yeah.
Force Ghosts.
There will be a Return of the Jedi moment as the Knights of Ren are successfully striking down Rey, and we will see Kylo start to become conflicted and turn on his own knights to save Rey. Interesting. It could be a little bit derivative of Return of the Jedi, but hey.
And Last Jedi. That's what happened in the Snoke scene.
It all rhymes though.
It's true.
It's all poem.
Ring theory.
Return of the Last Jedi.
Okay, King Tom Chansky, who we adore. A simple prediction for 2019. Episode 9 will feature a scene where Finn is running towards a ship only to have that ship destroyed from above as he steps away from it by either TIE fighters or local security forces chasing right after him.
I never realized how much that happens to him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, poor Finn. For once, give him a ship.
Well, I don't know if it's just because you're here and it's in my head, but when he said that Finn would be running towards a ship, I thought he'd be running towards like Rey and Kylo kissing.
Running towards it.
And then they'll be shot by a TIE fighter and killed.
Probably just because
And he'll run over to Poe and make another ship. Yeah, got it.
Ooh, love it. Emmanuel Blocus. Oh, I butchered your surname there, but it is Emmanuel is a delightful name. By the time episode 9 is 1/3 of the way through its runtime, 1/3, Kylo Ren will be dethroned as Supreme Leader of the First Order.
I can see that happening because Hux's like final shot in The Last Jedi is him being like, son, you here crying on the floor. You ain't going to last a day here. So I think there's going to be a coup somewhere in the movie. Not sure in the first third, but Hux is definitely going to be like.
Yeah.
And some of the new characters are probably bad guys.
That's a fascinating. 1/3 in. I'm not sure about, but so close. So close to the movie I'm imagining in my head that must be true. and also assuming things about films has never gone wrong for any Star Wars fan ever. Excellent, Emmanuel. Let's go to our next in-studio prediction. Who are you and where are you talking from?
Hello, my name is Ian. I'm from San Diego.
Nice, Ian. It's good to have you back at the podcast.
Yeah,
what's your prediction, man?
Here. I had this in my mind as a prediction, and then when I got up here, I was like, maybe this is just something I really want to happen.
As opposed
the best
to
sort of
all
prediction.
the other ones.
Right? Yeah,
Right.
But I think that we're gonna get a big old space battle in Episode 9, and we're going to have a savior fleet jump in to save the Resistance from something headed by Lando. But I think this is going to be the opportunity where they're just going to jam in all the Easter eggs and like all the, that we're going to see the Corvus jump in from Battlefront 2, and we're going to see the Ghost in there, and just all because we've loosely connected the animated series and the live action stuff and all these other stories, and I think this is going to be like the big hurrah moment where we get this is the fan service moment right here, and I think that's where it's going to be, and I think Lando's going to spearhead it.
I love that prediction, and I so hope for it because I want that. Like when I was a little kid and I'd watch professional wrestling, it was my favorite thing was when a good guy was in trouble and then like another good guy or a bad guy turned good would run in and save the day. And I just thought that was like cool. And I think that's sort of one of what I take out of Star Wars is it's about like helping your friends out when they're in trouble. Like that sort of, happens so much, during the movies. And to have like a fleet headed by Lando and Wedge, he could be there as well.
Yeah, he's kicking around somewhere.
And I want Gungans. I want Ewoks. Do you know what I mean? I want everyone that's like everyone they've met through the whole thing. There can be like clone troopers gone good. There can be reprogrammed battle droids and
Thrawn and Ezra are coming in on one of those space whales.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a super fan of the space. What are the space whales called?
Purgle?
Purgle, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not such a huge fan of them, but I am fascinated to see them in live action. I do want to see that effect. Excellent prediction.
Thank you.
I wish you well in the contest.
You see Ben Mendelsohn walking up with his cape blowing behind him as he's trying to get into the
Thank you. Our good friend, the rural farm boy, predicts. He says, I aren't really much for making predictions, but I'll give it a go. No Boba Fett in The Mandalorian.
A hot take.
A hot prediction take.
Yeah. I hope it's true.
I hope it's true too.
Yeah.
I hope it's true, but I can't imagine it happening. Yeah.
Interesting. There is a few, I won't get too into because I know there's a few more Boba Fett Mandalorian predictions. Fraser Baxter predicts, hope all is well. My prediction for Star Wars Episode 9 is that we will see Han, Luke, and Leia reunited for a flashback scene using digital wizardry and getting Harrison Ford out of his plane to film a scene. It may even include a young Ben Solo in it.
Thank you, but no thank you.
I'm in the middle on that one. People were so upset not to see the three of them back together again, and it didn't serve the story. And also, we saw them together for 3 films, but I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't know.
I just don't like the digitally
gotcha.
the use of recreation
The wizardry?
of that stuff. Maybe if it's like a behind the back shot or something, or they walk by and it's like Baby Ben doing something, but
I would almost even just want to cut away to like footage from the original trilogy, like a memory kind of thing.
I don't like when they use the digital technology to bring dead actors back. I think that's just it's a weird thing for me. I'm not a fan.
I'm already real iffy about this whole we're reconstructing a Leia storyline based on like found footage from the last movie. Like I don't want them to make it even worse and more creepy.
Yeah. So what would you like rather than do though?
Honestly, I would have rather they opened the new movie with Leia's funeral. I would rather it be like a big thing to begin the story with.
And they show the funeral?
And they show the funeral.
God,
and they make,
what an uplifting start.
No, but I think they do. I think they make it an inspirational thing. Like they make it like a speech that like rallies the rebellion around it. Like she gave her life for this, and we're gonna honor her. And like I think it'd be better than the scene on the like in Last Jedi where when I thought they were doing it that way. I would rather they just pay respect to Carrie and like make her character really, really important without using the old footage thing is really bugging me. I don't know.
How many years is it going to be between this movie and the next one in the universe time? Do you think
it's rumored to be a year? I think Empire UK said that John Boyega said to them it was a year, but then John Boyega said, "I don't remember saying that at all," but he didn't say it wasn't true either. Yeah.
Because if there's, say if it's 5 or 7 or whatever, tons of stuff could have happened. So there is like room for a Leia narrative before she's gone.
Yeah, I just like with the funeral, because I thought of that. I just think it's sort of like not right because we've got so much emotion about Carrie Fisher dying. To add that, I don't know. There's something that doesn't sit with me right with. Like it's exploitive.
I think I'm very unpopular in this opinion. I accept that, but for me, I would rather them do that than have digitally inserted Leia footage.
You're trying to find a way to honor her, though, right? Like you want to.
Yeah, I want like her legacy to be the opening of the movie, and like the resistance that we're seeing in the movie is Leia's legacy.
Yeah, you don't want any Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh God!
Right? Oh God, yeah. No.
But that's what ultimately that's what the digital wizardry is.
I'm not a fan of it. That's why. Yeah. Like I think the idea of it like officially being like Poe, because like at the end of Land of Last Jedi was so much Poe taking on the mantle of like kind of being the new leader of the Resistance, and I feel like if you still have Leia around, it's I hate to cross to another genre thing, but it's kind of like. You can't have Harry Potter fight off Voldemort if Dumbledore is still there.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would have made more sense narratively to have her have died a hero's death, have her be this proud figure that we all remember, and then Poe has to take on that mantle. And that's like the idea of him being like, how do I lead where I don't even have Leia to consult with would be really interesting.
Well, it's each like an old member going in each episode, right? So Han in the first one, and then you lose old mate.
Yeah.
And then...
Exactly. Yes. And Chewie never gets a hug.
No. Yeah.
He got his hug in The Last Jedi.
That's fair.
Brandon and Baker predicts the final episode 9 trailer will premiere on the Disney Plus service. I don't think they'll do that because I feel like it will generate so much ill will from people. Like, you got to pay for an ad. But, even if they show it, like, I just don't think it will work because you just can't keep things off YouTube. Like, I feel like it's a futile thing to not just put up because someone will just put it up, like cam footage or something like that. It's 2019 and people love to upload. Trust me. Okay, that was Rebecca's one that she sent in. Raymond Lamb, who is a great listener in Hong Kong, who featured on an episode with me. Raymond's prediction is that there'll be no more arguments and we will have harmony.
Oh, good boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, dream big.
Sweet boy.
Yeah. That's a bold prediction.
Very optimistic.
And
but like, put that energy out there. We'll say it and then we'll do it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what bringing balance to the Force is about. If this movie brings balance.
Yeah,
to
the
everything.
Force fans.
Yeah, to everyone's like,
social media.
It brings balance to Force Friday.
Yeah.
Hey, Steele.
Hey, Meredith. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Nice.
Okay. So I've got should I go with my safe prediction or like my crazy prediction?
Crazy prediction.
Okay. So in the vein of Leia and Kylo Ren. I think that in episode 9, Kylo Ren will die, but his last moments are him reaching out to Leia through the Force.
Ooh. Interesting. Nice. That is a very good prediction. I like the predictions that get your mind churning and just like, ooh, that's something that could happen.
Like, and that is part of the reason why I'm glad they're keeping Leia present in the films. I'm not sure how much they're using the old footage to give her, how much of a story arc they're giving her, or rather like just keeping her present, that you'll just kind of see that she's there, is because she never got that moment with her son. And they've clearly been working towards something, that there's something different between Kylo and Leia, that clearly he hates the men in his life, but there's something different about Leia, and even if it's just like a subtle moment like that, I just want a moment where you know that there was this sort of connection there. There is a different sort of connection between mother and son there. And it's nice because we've seen kind of like the father-son relationship in Star Wars a lot. We haven't really gotten the importance of a like mother and child relationship really before. So I really want that moment, and I love that they. Obviously, we couldn't predict Carrie Fisher, but I do love that they saved that for episode 9 because they knew how important that would be.
Yeah.
It's awful that we can't see it come to fruition.
Well, she had said at one point that like she had been told that like episode 9 was going to be the Leia, like the way that Han had Force Awakens and Luke had Last Jedi, and she was going to have this one. And so it is kind of a bummer that, like, I mean, it's obviously horribly tragic we lost her to begin with, in general, but it's a shame because she worked so hard and like for so long, and so for her not to get her movie as her movie is a huge tragedy in that.
Well, I'm glad we at least got to see her like have that like relationship with Poe in The Last Jedi, but yeah, it's definitely something that they were like building up to in 9, and I think like we will see the fruition of that. And I think like Leia will be used like hologram mode of some of her like old scenes, as opposed to just like her just digitally just there and work around her too. So
yeah,
hologram's the best way to go, right?
Princess Leia is one of my favorite holograms.
She's the OG.
Yeah. Like that moment with Kylo and Leia in The Last Jedi, that was so good. So good. So yeah, I hope you're in the finals at the end of the year, Meredith. I'm very
I hope
impressed.
so too.
Thank you very much, Meredith. I appreciate that. Morgan Rimmer says Millie Bobby Brown of Stranger Things will be announced as part of the cast for the Cassian Andor TV series, and she'll be playing a cameo as young Leia during the inception of the Rebel Alliance. So that is, I like it when they just, there's no confusion about that prediction.
Airtight. It's an airtight prediction.
That's the only other, like, only way of having another actor play Leia that I'd be okay with is someone playing her at a different point in like an early version of her, or possibly in between. If they did like a TV series that was live action set in between the classic trilogy and the sequel trilogy, if they had like somebody playing her on TV in that period, maybe. But even that, I still would rather just have a child and that be it.
What about if they just only used the CGI from Rogue One and she answers everything with just hope? Hope.
I'd be into it.
Nice. Zachary Shenning predicts that there'll be a heartfelt... You might want to brace for this one. There will be a heartfelt and memorable scene with Kylo Ren and Chewbacca.
Oh, I love it.
Where Chewbacca kills Kylo Ren.
He rips out his heart and eats it.
He rips his arms off and then makes a bowcaster out of them. And then
Kylo Ren.
Bookie's known to do that. So.
Yeah, Kylo bowcaster.
I was about to say something like really creepy and like, can I just have his arms? That'd be great. Is that too creepy?
The mysterious... The mysterious...
My favorite part about it is that you followed up with it. Would that be creepy? If I asked to keep a man's arms, would that be creepy?
Just his arms. Just need some hugs.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes.
Oh!
Hey.
There it is.
But to your credit, it's probably the least creepy part to keep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
So...
Is it?
Nothing is
We're
the
going
least
with
creepy.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't.
I think
take
it's
the
just
words
all
back from
creepy.
Do you
Yes.
have this deal in the works? Or are you trying to like? No, it's fine, guys. Don't worry about it.
It's good here. I have an NDA. I can't talk about it.
The mysterious Sizzle Dizzle predicts that the Cassian Andor show will be named Rebel Scum.
Ooh, I like that.
Robbo, my buddy Robbo that does the Patreon show, the Robbo Report with me in New Jersey, predicts that the First Order will not be completely defeated at the end of episode 9. And his son, Robbo Jr., predicts that the good guys will win by stealing something powerful from the First Order and using it against them. Maybe the Star Destroyer that Rebecca predicted. That could be
Kylo Ren.
Maybe Kylo Ren's arms.
Oh, yeah.
Still holding the lightsaber, and they're just like they use it as like a lightsaber extender.
Yeah.
The arms race is just really getting out of hand at this point.
I mean, it's about time someone lost an arm, right? Yeah. Have we had that? We don't think we've had that yet in the new trilogy. Unless I'm totally forgetting about something.
No one's lost any limbs?
Yeah. No one's lost limbs.
Phasma might have.
No.
Yeah.
Unkar Plutt did in a bonus scene, a deleted scene.
Yeah, that's true.
right?
Because Unkar Plutt is the true Skywalker
Right.
of the sequel trilogy.
He is the chosen one.
He is.
Nate Presento predicts that Finn will be the one to say, I have a bad feeling about this in episode 9. So Kyle Delaney predicts in episode 9, at least one of the Jedi students that fled with Kylo Ren will play a major role in the movie. There's a lot of talk about Felicity, Kerry Russell being a Knights of Ren. What do you know about that?
I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I really like the idea because it's very much insinuated that some of Luke's students kind of left with Kylo. Well, it's said, it's not just insinuated, but if they became some of the Knights of Ren or all of the Knights of Ren, I really love that idea. So if Carrie was part of that or any of the new cast members, if Matt Smith was part of that, I'd be totally down.
Yeah, they all, I don't know, they just seem too old. I just picture them all sort of being like Beverly Hills 90210 age or something. Like, do you know what I mean?
They all have really good hair.
I'm imagining them. I'm actually going on the other side where I don't know if they think they're going to be villains. I think they might be some of the allies from the Outer Rim that have gotten the signal now that like that's kind of getting boosted. That's my theory about them because I know a lot of people. There was that theory that Matt Smith was playing like a young Palpatine clone or whatever, and I was like, I don't want. Please don't. Let's not.
Yeah, let's not clone people. Let's not clone people. Rowan Strang from New Zealand predicts that Leia is in the closing shot of episode 9 and Luke's Return of the Jedi green lightsaber continues to be absent from present day storyline in the new trilogy, leaving allowance for flashbacks. So very interesting. I don't know about doubling down with the double prediction there, but Leia in the last shot of episode 9, I kind of like. That's an interesting thing. What will be the last shot? Like,
I think it'll probably be the black sweep coming in and the credits rolling. That's what I think it would say written and directed by J.J. Abrams, and then
it's about as good of a prediction as the Resistance is going to win.
Yeah.
I think me and you are the final
you guys have got it
for
pretty
next
good.
year. Yeah.
It would just make it all worthwhile. Just watching these movies for so long. If the final scene includes in the corner Lando clapping, just to have that synergy from Return of the Jedi, that would be fantastic. Catherine Neen chimes in from Melbourne, Australia, one of our longtime listeners. I predict that Kylo will turn away from the dark side. Just got to fan myself. This is good. This is real good. I predict that Kylo will turn away from the dark side. In a battle, he will need a lightsaber. R2-D2 will roll up and shoot Luke's green lightsaber towards him.
She really knows the audience here.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Someone knows how to get her email read on the air.
Oh my God. That is That is fantastic. That would be amazing. I would love that.
See, I'm here for basically that same thing, but I want Obi-Wan's lightsaber because I want them to recognize that, like, who Ben's namesake is.
Mm-hmm.
So either with, like, be like, hey, here's Ben Kenobi's lightsaber, or, like, this is a little too repetitive, so I don't see them doing this, but with having Kylo see Leia's hologram, the "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope." And I think that would be like a really touching moment. I wish you said, "Help me, Ben Kenobi, you're my only hope," just because it would be a little more on the nose there. But I just want them to acknowledge that his namesake is Obi-Wan.
Interesting. Oh my God, just give me a green lightsaber. Come on, please. Matthew Thurbo says in episode 9, we'll never find out how Maz Kanata came in the possession of Luke's lightsaber. JJ will overlook this, just like the Leia Chewbacca hug in The Force Awakens, and the story will have to be told via books or comics. I don't see that as a negative thing if it's not. That's not something I'm desperately needing. I'm not sure if anyone knows like the original scene for that because they had a flashback of how Maz got the saber originally in The Force Awakens. It was in one of the scripts. Yeah, didn't it like?
Because I love it. It's hilarious.
Run us
is that all of the Knights of Ren are sitting around a campfire making s'mores? Not really, but they're around a campfire, and Maz just sneaks up and takes the saber from Kylo and runs. That's the whole story.
Wow.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was in one of the drafts. That was supposed to be in the Force back in The Force Awakens of the Knights of Ren just chilling, making s'mores, and Maz is like, here we go.
Wait, then how did the Knights of Ren get the lightsaber?
We don't know that.
That's my thing.
We know
is like,
Maz got it.
Yeah. I'm with you as far as
obviously they're probably going to change that.
Yeah, I'm with you though. Is like I don't need them to explain that not only in the movie but ever. Like I don't need it ever. Like if there's one thing that I think Star Wars could learn from the prequels is that you don't need to tie up every single individual possible thread.
Bit of mystery is good.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I like Maz saying that's a story from another time and then never telling that story.
I want to see like Lord of the Rings where you see where the ring goes for the whole time. Luke's lightsaber, just where it's been every single moment up until the point where someone grabs it and you're like, yes. And the person who grabs it is fucking Gollum.
Who's Snoke?
Yeah, my precious. That's
right.
right.
That's how he gets so powerful because he had that
Circle's
powerful
complete.
lightsaber.
Everyone's heads explode. Credits done.
I had never heard that. Like I heard the one where they showed it like land on a planet and someone picked it up. They showed a timeline of it. I'd never heard that Knights of Ren one, but it does fit in because in some original some raw photos of that Knights of Ren scene, Kylo Ren has got that lightsaber in his hand.
Yep.
And it got photoshopped and it changed.
I had always heard that it just like the hand holding the saber was tumbling through space. That was like a rumored early draft.
That was the original opening to The Force Awakens. It was that tumbling through space, which again, good decisions were made in not having that.
Yeah. That just sounds ridiculous, but I wish it sort of happened so they could bring out like a really expensive prop replica of Luke's hand.
Oh,
that would be so sick.
A little frosty, right?
Yeah, I'm into it. Okay, Dante DeMille, he already predicted. I should, if anyone wants to come up and do a prediction, that is all good. Marina Costa predicts that both Leia and Kylo survive episode 9. I think that one.
That's my dream, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a good chance. I kind of feel like Leia will. I just think it's a bit much to like. Yeah, it's just.
I feel like they probably wouldn't, especially after the whole thing with the ship exploding in episode 8. I think that knowing that gut reaction that the audience had to that moment, I don't think that JJ would push that limit again. I don't think she'll die either.
Gary Molesbury from Tulsa predicts. Ooh. I think there'll be no redemption for Kylo Ren, and he will be killed in the climactic battle.
Here's the thing: if Rian Johnson was making this movie, I would agree with that. But with JJ, I don't agree with that.
I disagree with that. Ryan loves Kylo so much, and he's even gone on record saying like, "What's the point of learning about like Kylo's conflict if all you're going to do is kill him at the end?" Like that's an exact quote from Ryan.
I don't mean him necessarily killing him, but I just don't know if Ryan's is as much of a like redemption story specific kind of thing.
I'm like, I will completely disagree.
Okay,
on that. I think Ryan's a redemption stan.
I guess what I'm thinking more of is like I think that like with JJ, and this is so maybe unfair, but I think of JJ as someone that I'm more likely to think of something being more predictable from, whereas from Ryan, like what I learned from Last Jedi is I can't expect anything coming into this.
Breaking all the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, Adam Driver actually had like a quote that came out today. Actually, that was about him knowing Kylo's fate since the first movie.
What?
So
yeah, that was really
It's
interesting.
actually the fate of the Furious, as it turned out.
yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
That was a good one.
clearly, they kind of have had an idea for at least his character the entire time, and he's like, "I've known since the beginning where we were going." So
What a scintillating quote. He sort of said like, it's been helpful to know where we're going to end up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm sure you did as well. Just reread that quote again. It's like, what more can I get out of this? Like, but very good. Gideon from Melbourne says, my prediction for episode 9 is that Rey and Kylo will learn to use their Force bond, and their final confrontation will be an astral plane mind battle a la Professor X or Doctor Strange.
I kind of love it.
Wow.
That'd be a bold move. That'd be a bold move because I know a lot of people didn't like the whole Luke Skywalker not being their thing. They feel it's like some sort of.
Oh, I love that, but I don't like the Force battle idea.
Yeah.
Well, that becomes like, who do they just one loses and they both wake up and they're like, next time.
If you die in the Force, you die in real life.
Just like one little trail of blood coming from the nose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alex Maxwell predicts that Matt Smith is playing a young clone or revived Palpatine in episode 9.
Well, we know how I feel about that based on earlier in this conversation.
Which is, that's a rumor that's getting floated about.
Just to revisit the thing with Kylo real quick while you're looking up another email, I think that, like, thinking about it, I do think it'd be more interesting of a story if he's redeemed but has to live with the consequences of what he did as Kylo. If he kind of does come back to the light and is Ben Solo, but always has to live with the guilt of what he's been part of.
And both of his arms are missing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
We know where they're at.
Yeah.
Because clearly this is a topic I can talk a lot about.
No arms.
But because a lot of this conflict in the sequel trilogy is because Vader didn't live, I think the proper solution is having to deal, or like Kylo as his character, what happens after that?
Mhm.
How do you get the galaxy to really believe you've changed? Because a lot of this conflict, like I said, is because Vader died and no one believed what Luke said. Either no one cared, because Leia, in what we've learned, she was basically ousted from the Senate because they found out she was Vader's daughter. And Kylo never really knew Vader was his grandfather until much later in life, and didn't really know couldn't hear that redemption arc firsthand. So I really think that the living through it and having to deal with those consequences could possibly lead to a more permanent solution, because Vader's death and no one really knowing that redemption story besides one person who believed it kind of spiraled out of control.
Really needed Anakin Force Ghost to do a podcast about what he'd been through.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he does a appearance in episode 9. Jim Grote predicts fans have been trying to guess which Force Ghost will show up in episode 9 besides Luke, which we know. Well, we don't know he's going to be a Force Ghost. We just know he's going to be in the film. Could be flashbacks. The usual suspects like Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Yoda are mentioned. I predict a wild card, however. Force Ghost Han Solo.
That's. I mean, after the last movie, you never know. There's no rules anymore. People was like, do not want it to change.
And then he talks about how people wanted to see them all together again, which they do. But Force Ghost Han Solo. So
we don't really know a lot about Force Ghost rules, do we? Other than you've got to be a Jedi. Or
And
you used to be.
You've got to be light side.
Light side. Yeah, there's no dark.
No, yeah, and so Anakin got saved by Ben Kenobi and Yoda because he turned back
last minute.
But it's sort of established that like dark side people can't become Force ghosts, which is the irony because they want eternal life. But by looking for it, they can't get it.
There are technicalities in the expanded sort of literature of Star Wars.
Is it canon or not canon?
It's canon. There is a Sith artifact. It's a helmet in the Vader comic that's possessed by the spirit of an old Sith.
All right.
It's not technically like a ghost. It's kind of
so you can have Force evil
corrupted
Sith items.
I don't know. It's not explained.
Yeah, I mean, Encoder, which isn't necessarily canon anymore, but in the game there was definitely like when you went to
like the tombs.
Yeah, there was definitely Sith ghosts in like Sith tombs or whatever. But it's also a video game. That's scary to fight a ghost in a tomb. So yeah.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
Pretty metal.
It's actually turned me off the game forever just hearing about it. I can't deal. Dom Legaspi in San Francisco predicts that episode 9 will contain a surprising cameo of a prequel character. And then he doubles down with this one, and it will be something that Jason Ward did not report beforehand.
Ooh.
Which I enjoy because he's very arrogant to sit next to when his predictions come true in the film. Joshua Harris predicts Gungans will be seen in 2019.
Oh, and that rhymes? I love it.
I like that one because it's sort of like vague but precise.
But like seen where?
In new content. Not just like in your like
in your dreams.
Yeah. Or just in an old poster or something like that. In new content, I think we'll take that as.
Shame content couldn't make it to the show tonight. I know that was part of the promotions, but
content? No, that's my credit.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, is that I'm from I'm from content. That's where I'm from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Somebody said, I hope content is here tonight, so I thought I was playing off that joke.
Oh, it's also what many people predicted my son would be called. So, yes.
Yeah.
Content Saunders. No, they wanted his full name to be Content Sizzle Saunders, which is maybe for the daughter. Who knows?
Yeah.
Scott Mock says, good afternoon, Steele. I have an episode 9 prediction regarding Kylo Ren. Following his humiliation on Crate, Kylo has retreated from public eye as the new Supreme Leader. He keeps to his throne room and wears his own metallic bathrobe, essentially going from a Darth Vader cosplayer at the beginning of the trilogy to a Snoke cosplayer.
He changes his name from Kylo to Shiloh Ren.
Boom.
All right, we've got one from Peter Scoretta from Slash Film. Star Wars Episode 9 will begin with a lightsaber fight between Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia.
What? That's a crazy one.
I have no
He
idea.
has really good odds.
But if they're right, if that person's right, that's the winning prediction.
Yeah. But he was the one that tweeted about if you want clues about episode 9, check out the Visual Dictionary, which
I did a whole podcast.
yeah.
on
So
that.
you should be batting for him.
All right, I am. I'm batting for you, man.
Is this insider trading?
I don't know. Insider predicting.
Insider predicting, right?
Could be.
Real serious.
Are there,
Hey,
there's no
disqualify this person from winning if that's
Are
the
there
suspect.
there's no prizes here. There's no one's getting. Is the winner get a thing?
There could be a couple of T-shirts involved.
All right, okay.
You know.
So there's a bit of skin in the game here.
Pride and accomplishment.
Yeah.
And and Courtney has offered up one of Kylo's arms for the prize as well. So that's
Nice.
good. Jermaine from IO9 predicts, I believe that parts of Season 2 of Resistance will act as a pseudo-Episode 9 prequel and show the Resistance after the Battle of Crate.
Oh.
So there's that like Marvel does it with Agents of Marvel where they thread in the show with each movie, which is pretty
They did it for a while until there was like a huge schism between the TV Marvel company and the cinematic Marvel company.
Yeah,
and
right.
They kind of got a lot less good with it.
Yeah.
Like all they did for this past one, we go, Thanos is attacking New York right now, and that's all they did was like mention it, and then like didn't make, nobody got dusted or anything.
Yeah, right. None of them got dust. That's really crazy odds. They're all just there.
I would love for that prediction to come true, but I kind of feel like they shy away from it because it's so hard, because the films are so like always changing and evolving to tie in
With
like
another thing.
Yeah, that it's sort of, then you're sort of locked in, and then like the continuity's off, and people go crazy on the internet because it's got to all match up and stuff. So I would applaud. I would applaud, but I hope it happens, but I don't have high hopes.
I think it depends on how much time has passed between the two movies. Like, I think if it's been several years, yes, it probably will be set in between that time period. If it's been 1 year, probably not.
Yeah. Jessica Shatara predicts that the Weiss and Benioff will be let go from their unknown project, or it will be dropped. And then she chimes in, and I think you'll appreciate this. This is more of a hope than a prediction. So, I don't know. Are people excited for the Game of Thrones guys to make a Star Wars film?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I'm more like Rian Johnson looking forward to, but you know, I'm open, especially if they go back to like a medieval, you know, sort of Knights of the Old Republic time.
That'd be
very
Yeah, I want it to be. If it's not connected at all, I'd be happy with it.
Get a real
That's
fresh one.
my
Get a freshie.
I'm less excited than the crowd is, but yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of that show they get credit for it, and I feel like a lot of the stuff that's like the best of that show is from the books and not from them creating it. So I'm curious to see what they'll do with it if they don't have like an actual like source guide to follow through.
Do you know what they're going to do? They're going to take Game of Thrones and just CGI a lightsaber where anyone's got a sword.
Pretty sure someone's already done it on YouTube. But we've got an audio prediction here. I will let this guy do the talking.
Sweet.
Yeah! What is up, joke General Steelus? And everyone listening to Steele Wars.
It's
Johnny
disturbing he's up
Grasso
there.
here, and I am bringing you the greatest prediction of all time.
Bring the girl
Why?
Ray to me.
Because it's true. You know it in your bones. Ray is a Skywalker.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah.
I will actually be mad at JJ if he does that.
Oh, I'll be furious.
If he undoes that awesome move that Ryan made, like I'll be really annoyed with it.
I will talk about it later when I do my prediction. But yeah. From the Blue Harvest podcast, we have got Hors Burkhardt. His prediction for Star Wars in 2019 is that Episode 9 will contain a plot element of some sort that will leave the door open for further Star Wars episodes post the Skywalker saga. I kind of hope they don't do that, because I feel like later on you can just add on like something, but I kind of want my clapping Lando ending. Do you know what I mean? I don't want the sand to rise at the end. You know, like Justice League, whatever that film was, Batman versus Superman. I don't want to see no sand rising. Keep your sand on the ground.
You want a clean break. You don't want to. Oh, what if the?
Yeah, I kind of want like 7-year-old kids to walk out going, "The galaxy saved. That was awesome. That was dope."
I agree.
Yeah. I think if we're going to have another trilogy after this one that's actually in this continuity, I want it to be similar to this, where I want it to be like a generation later and it's a whole new story, as opposed to being like this story is still going on and we're stuck with it for longer.
Well, I always like when they did the big Force Awakens panel at Star Wars Celebration, and you know, Daisy and John Boyega were out on the stage and they brought out like the legacies, you know, Hamill and Carrie Fisher. I always had this thing of like, are they looking at them going, "Oh my God, that's going to be me in 30 years, coming back to do that"? So I always thought that'd be really cool.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
And I can't, like, I sort of are deliciously hoping that then people complain about how those, they ruin Ray.
Do you know what I mean? They ruin Way. Like there's too much focus on Quasar 7. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's just like every generation does the same thing.
Yeah.
The new one's never good enough. Blah blah blah.
But when I was talking about that kid, in my head I was picturing like a little 7-year-old coming out and going, it's they saved, the galaxy, it's all good now. And then in the background they can hear a girl cosplaying as Luke Skywalker going, I told you, the Resistance won. Yes.
That's me. He's referencing me.
They're my arms. I got them fair and square.
I'll be at the El Capitan, guys, for if you want to witness that happen.
You've got them like over your back, like a pair of crossed swords. Like
here you go.
Like
Bam.
Lewis Johnson predicts one more A Star Wars Story film will be announced at Celebration, thus completing a trilogy of A Star Wars Story films. And I'm going to push the boat out and say it'll be a Kenobi film in response to the fan rumblings last year. I feel like it's reaching, but it's within the realm of possibility after... I feel it's reaching, but it's within the realm of possibility after Ewan did Christopher Robin with Disney a few months ago. I find it hard to believe that the potential of an Obi-Wan film wouldn't have been mentioned to him then. I feel like it's been mentioned to him in private many, many times.
I love the idea that it would never have come up if he hadn't done Christopher Robin. Hey, while we have you here,
it's the whole
have you
reason.
ever thought about playing Obi-Wan again? Just wild thought.
No, because
not when he came in to record audio for Force Awakens.
Yeah.
No, but when he comes in to make a different movie.
No, the only person bold enough to ask him was Pooh Bear.
Yeah. Christopher Robin.
It was one of my favorite memes last year, if you saw that, where it was like him talking to Pooh, and he's like, hello there, and Pooh's like General Kenobi with like 4 arms with the lightsabers.
I was more a fan of Pooh up on the counter saying it's over, I have the high ground.
Neil Dodsworth says, so the first page of the How to Be a Jedi Penguin books Ray got from the tree. What the hell? So the first page of the How to Be a Jedi...
I first heard that as How to Be a Jedi Penguin, and I'm like, I want these books. I want to be a Jedi Penguin.
Oh my...
What he said?
No, he's talking about Penguin books.
Oh, Penguin book.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I heard the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the
I think he's
dope.
being a bit facetious in the start. But I have to say, in one of the Patreon Q&As I did this week, there's a Jedi, I can't remember his name, but I will memorize it, in the EU that's like a rabbit crossed with a cat. And he's a Jedi. And he has paws. And he holds a lightsaber. So I have to do a lot more research because it sounds like this character's been specifically tailored for me. I don't know what color the lightsaber is yet, but fingers crossed. So, the first page of the How to Be a Jedi Penguin book Ray got from the tree contain a note in the margin from Luke explaining his favorite hide-and-seek location. Okay, I see where this is going now. Ray will find him alive, but locked in his X-Wing after he forgot he left the keys when he force teleported there as a joke. The caretakers know he's there, but have been enjoying the peace and quiet for months. I think you're in with a chance, Neil. Excellent.
I expect that to be the thing now.
You know what? Sometimes you just want something so ridiculous that you just sit back and you're like, I'm in for a good time.
Yeah,
This is
like I
so
mean, there was
ridiculous.
probably somebody sitting around before Last Jedi. Like, I really hope that Luke flat out drinks milk from the teat of a creature in the middle of this movie, and they got their wish. So
That is one hell
we
of a
all said they
prediction.
were crazy, and they were 100% right.
But it is funny, like, it'd be a super... Because a lot of people's predictions about these new movies, and I am, like, very guilty of this, are just something happening again. Like, when we found out there was that the X-Wing was in the water, I was like, it's going to be so good when he levitates it out and gets in it. Like, because now he knows how to do it. Like, all my wishes were, like, just things happening again. But I love that someone's like, oh, I'd love it if Luke drank milk again. And then he sees the film like, not like that, no!
Careful what you wish for. I mean, he's more mad that it's green and not blue, though. That's what he's actually angry about.
Yeah. Well, I don't see colour, I just see milk. Dan Pembleton says Captain Phasma is still alive and will return as a Darth Vader General Grievous type character.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Nick Oithia predicts Kylo Ren will declare his love for Rey early in episode 9. Rey will refuse him. Throughout the film, he will be tortured by his unrequited love, lashing out, falling deeper into the dark side. The end of the film will involve him letting go of his love that he cannot have. For those listening to the audio version, big frown from Courtney. Big frown. Thompson McKenzie says... Thompson McKenzie from Ontario, Canada. My prediction for Star Wars in 2019 relates to Episode 9, and it is that Kylo Ren will directly interact with some type of Force being. Not traditional Force ghosts, or some, like... Oh, sorry. Example, traditional Force ghosts or some type of new sentient manifestation.
Oh yeah, I think Luke is probably going to be like the main, like his Force ghostness is going to like mainly be in contact with Kylo, doing Harrison Ford impressions. That's what my dream.
Well, Mark Hamill's the man to do it.
Yep.
Josh Chapman from Melbourne, and he does say here, Josh Chapman from Melbourne, a previous grand finalist. But enough sports talk. My prediction is... this is brutal. Episode 9 will see the on-screen deaths of R2-D2 and C-3PO.
I'm out. I'm gone.
Take that back. You put that back in the bottle.
That is a tough one.
You go sit in the corner and feel bad about yourself, Josh Chapman.
Not even about that. I just hope you feel sad in general.
How dare you?
How dare you? Yeah, that is something. And it's also kind of strategically bad because they can, like R2-D2 and C-3PO can be forever characters in Star Wars
market them
films.
forever.
Yeah. Max Palace from the Star Wars Post website says the big reveal for the ending of this saga will be the origins of the Skywalker family. For example, Anakin's father. Ooh, I don't know about that one.
It's going deep into the past when it seems like they're trying to go into the future.
Would also make Shmi out to be a dirty liar because, you know, she said there was no father.
And didn't we learn, like in the comics very recently, that it was Palpatine who created Anakin?
It's more like, it's kind of like a open interpretation, but they also hint at it in Revenge of the Sith where he's talking about his master Plagueis or whoever. And they did some
Darth Plagueis the Wise. Yeah, we know the tragedy.
They did some.
Heard of him?
We've all heard of it.
That's more insider information for you guys. It's more like they did some dark side mojo stuff and tried to create life. That's kind of what they hint at. And then I think this is my interpretation that Anakin was the result of that kind of meddling around, but they didn't specifically think, oh, there's this woman, Shmi Skywalker. So it just happened to her. It was just fate that she became pregnant with this chosen one, this Force dark side thing. So when Palpatine sees Anakin, he's kind of like, oh, it worked.
I made this.
Yeah. Oh, you. Okay, cool. So in a way, kind of his father, but not direct. I don't know. I think it was more open to interpretation. Yeah.
I feel like if it's in the comic already, it probably won't be in the movie because I feel like it's something that was that. Like I feel like if that big of a thing in the movie was put forward as a comic pitch, they're like, we're gonna not do that. We're not gonna publish that.
Yeah. There's a specific panel that I think people are really clinging to where they show Shmi pregnant and there's like a red swirl where her stomach is and Palpatine's like behind her, like whatever. So I think that's kind of where people really kind of clung on to that idea.
All right, the Palps getting in there.
You acted out that panel exceptionally well, Rashad.
I'm a visual storyteller as well, very animated.
I feel like I owe Marvel Comics $7 now or something just for, reading your bootleg of the scene. Jean Marie from AnakinandHisAngel.com, good buddy of the podcast. At the end of The Last Jedi, there are porgs in the Falcon who have nested there, and with one in particular who has taken a liking to Chewie. which shows the redemption story in Star Wars that they've forgiven him.
That's it.
Yeah. Although it might be wishful thinking, I predict we will see Porgs in episode 9. Will they have as strong as a presence as they did in the last film? I don't think so. In fact, I expect there might be a new creature that will capture our attention. Please, I love new creatures that capture our attention. But I actually think it would make sense to see a Porg or two pop up on screen, considering the fact that they were last seen in the Falcon, far from their home on Acto with a brand new family. You know where the Porgs could be? With Lando and Wedge in that fleet, and the Gungans and the Ewoks. Yes. That would be...
The problem, though, if you introduce Porgs into a different ecosystem where they have no natural predators, you're just going to cause ecological disaster. Forest Moon of Endor is going to be overrun with Porgs, and it's going to be real unfortunate.
Dude, Wicket and Lowgrey and that, they would love to cook themselves up a few Porgs.
Yeah, it'd be an apocalypse. Working with what you're giving me.
Adrian Chorley from the United Kingdom says it will be announced that the first film of the Rian Johnson trilogy will release before the first from the Benioff and Wass series does. So
I think that's pretty safe because that was announced way before theirs was. So,
so you're trying to say Ryan shot first?
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Yeah. That's a good one.
All right.
Yeah, better than the apocalypse one.
All right, cool. All right.
It's a reference from those films.
Didn't
we were
get nearly the same reaction, so I'm saying the apocalypse is still on top.
That would be great. I want this one just to be true, just so we get confirmation of when this Rian Johnson movie's coming out, because want it. So good luck, Adrian. Ken Knapsack, who was on our 2018 prediction wrap-up show from the Force Center podcast and Collider Jedi Council, predicts that in 2019, The Mandalorian will reveal that Boba Fett is alive, but we will not see him in the show yet. So that's also insinuating that there could be a second series of The Mandalorian, which is, it's not part of but we won't hold you that one. But that's a tantalizing one. It's a tantalizing one. Do you think there'll be a Boba Fett mention in The Mandalorian?
I think there'll for sure be a mention, but I don't think he'll actually be in the show. At least that's what I hope.
Anti-Fett.
I'm pretty anti-Fett.
Okay.
I'm not even so much anti-Fett as I am. I think Fett should have belonged exactly where he was and not been expanded upon ever again.
Yeah.
Leave the past alone.
Kill it if you have to.
Yeah.
You've had your fun, Fett. Let it go.
Yeah. No more Fett for this Fett.
Yeah.
Or feet? Is it feet? I don't know how to say it. It's like,
I'm about to pass out from that. The guys
from all this feet. You're gonna pass out from all this. You're gonna get feet stroke.
Excellent.
Wow.
I love that. Wow.
That was me.
Oh no.
The guys from Blast Points podcast, excellent podcast, you guys should check out. They just did an amazing Phantom Menace episode. Gabe predicts that episode 9 ends with Rey and Kylo together training students at a new Jedi temple. Mm-hmm.
That's my personal dream ending. Like, if I had a perfect scenario, that's it.
Okay, all right. And Jason predicts episode 9 contains many on-screen and surprising behind-the-scene links to the history of the entire saga. And we get our first real info on the post-episode 9 cinematic Star Wars landscape at Celebration Chicago. We better get our first real info about episode 9 cinematic stuff. Otherwise, I'll be walking out of Chicago in a huff. All right, we
probably
have
get a plane. It's a long walk out of Chicago.
Sorry?
Nothing. I'm being an asshole. That was the most dumb semantic joke I could make, and
Well, it is. This is going on the internet, so it's the perfect place for it.
Good.
All right, we have got an audio prediction from our buddies at the Star Wars
Underworld. Hey, Steele and Steele Wars audience. This is Dominic from the Star Wars Underworld.
And this is Chris. And this is Ben.
And here are our predictions for 2019 in Star Wars. And we wanted to make them, since we're the Star Wars Underworld, we wanted to make them all about The Mandalorian. And so our first prediction is that since Dave Filoni is involved, wolves will be featured in some way on The Mandalorian.
And the second prediction is that there's going to be some type of reference to a Pittsburgh sports team.
And our third prediction is that Rhoda the Hutt will show up.
And as a special bonus Filoni prediction.
Sorry, there's only one prediction per person, you guys, so we can't have that. Okay.
Ahsoka will show up as well, just because she always does.
It's more of a natural occurrence. But Chris, who you actually did one of those predictions from the Star Wars Underworld, what do you mean by a Pittsburgh?
Well, in the Clone Wars, there was Goldie the droid, which is a reference to the Pittsburgh Steelers and his colors. And Filoni is also a huge fan of the Pittsburgh Penguins as well. So my prediction is that there's going to be just some type of character or droid or something that
maybe
has...
a Force Penguin?
Or a
Jedi Penguin?
You guys just want penguins. That's
a
what you want. Yeah, so that's my prediction. There's just going to be some reference to the Penguins or the Steelers or maybe the Pirates. It's all the same colors.
Interesting. Okay. I normally fight Star Wars sports references because sport. But I'm with you. And Star Wars Underworld, to check that out. They cover Star Wars news every week. It's a great podcast. One of my faves. So thank you, Christopher.
Thank you.
Andy Campbell, at Celebration, the Rian Johnson trilogy will be officially detailed, please. And it will be about a group of smugglers who help take the fight against an evil crime syndicate, which also may include a new young Jedi as the main protagonist. That is interesting. Whatever Rian Johnson does, plenty of Force. Yeah. I want to be him dabbling with the Force heavily.
Force heavy.
Force heavy. We have got a prediction from another one of my fave podcasts, The Scavengers Horde. Rachel predicts that Kylo and Rey will duel again. Kylo will win, but be unable to kill Rey, and that's when he'll finally turn. Oh. Interesting. And
hi, I like them. Hello. My shout out to my friends.
And Kirsty predicts that Kylo Ren won't die, but he'll come really close, and the audience and Rey will think he's gone for a moment. Bonus points if Rey somehow revives him through the Force and he is reborn as a redeemed Ben Solo. Very interesting. Courtney, I have to ask you for your response.
I think no matter if Kylo survives or not, there's definitely going to be an almost moment. So there's definitely, even if he survives, there's going to be a moment where you think for sure it's donezo. So I definitely think that's going to be it.
Do you know what adds to that theory? It is a J.J. Abrams trope.
Yeah.
the dead and then they choke and then they spit up. There's in Mission Impossible 3 and with Dominic Monaghan in Lost, it's almost the exact same scene, but it's Dominic Monaghan in Lost.
Yeah.
I think it was actually Kerry Russell in Mission Impossible 3 that died and came back to life. But whatever.
Poe Dameron in Force Awakens. Can't find him. No body.
You're true.
What?
The TIE fighter crash.
Ah, yeah. True that. Because I saw that clip at a preview at IMAX. Harrison Ford introduced it. It was very exciting. And in the clip they showed, it was from when Finn arrived at Jakku to when they took off in the Falcon. And I didn't really know much about the film. I was trying to stay spoiler free. And they were talking about Poe Dameron being dead. And I was just like, whoa. That has to not
90
be true.
seconds.
That has to be not true.
It's also, that trope's also in Into Darkness, because there's a whole scene at the end of Into Darkness. I think you think Kirk is dead, and they go after Khan, and then he's alive at the end of it too. So
yes, Khan. He's a wily character.
So angry.
Laura Syracuse, a good buddy that comes on the podcast all the time. At the end of episode 9, Rey will establish the new Jedi school in search for Force kids. She will not end up with anyone.
she's gone all out with this one. Kylo Ren will die at the end without being redeemed, and Finn, Poe, and Rose with General Leia will move on with their lives building a new government. And Rose better not die because I will revolt. And that is fair enough. I just like that the prediction of like they'll move on with their lives.
Yeah.
All right.
I will say that I'm on board. I am very much of the I don't want Rey to be shipped with anybody camp. Like I like Rey just being a Jedi and being a hero and not having to have a romantic relationship in the movies.
I don't know. I'm open to what happens.
I'm open to what happens. I will probably enjoy it either way, but if I had my druthers, I would have Rey just get to be a hero and not have to have the romance part of it.
All right, we've got... this one's from the Tattoo Sons podcast, and it's an audio.
Hey, Steele and everybody on the Steele Wars podcast. This is David, the Bowtie Jedi guy.
This is BB Nate. Samuel the Hutt.
We are from Tatooine Sons, a Star Wars podcast. Steele, thank you so much for letting us have an opportunity to be a part of your 2019 predictions show. These are classic episodes that you guys do, and we can't thank you enough for letting us be a part of it. My prediction for 2019 is going to make a lot of people upset, and I'm sorry, but I actually predict that Rey is going to sacrifice herself in episode 9, and she's not going to make it out of that. With a twist, but you can listen to our podcast for that. Samuel the Hutt?
Boba Fett's going to make an appearance in The Mandalorian.
And BB Nate?
And Turvis is going to be made canon.
Well, of course Turvis is going to be made canon. What else is going to happen? Thanks, guys, so much. Look forward to hearing your guys' predictions as well.
Nice. I just realized where I know whenever there's a anti-Reylo prediction, your mouth goes the shape of my son when he's about to start crying.
It's my Muppet face.
Oh, no.
I mean, that's just Rey's gonna live. Like, she's not gonna die.
Yeah.
She's worked so hard. She did such a good job.
She's worked at
I'm
it.
proud of her. She deserves to live.
Okay, Curtis Smith predicts Porgs will continue to appear on Star Wars in the big screen in episode 9. So just a general Porg prediction. Brittany Brown from San Diego predicts, heartless prediction. Chewbacca will die in episode 9. Wow.
No, Chewbacca, R2, and C-3PO have the ability to live on forever, and so they should.
Chewbacca Force Ghost, maybe.
Chris Willis predicts Rey will defeat Kylo during the third act of episode 9. However, she will refuse to strike him down and she will walk away, leaving him to wallow in his final defeat.
Shouting, I hate you!
Yeah, I don't know. I try to work out how the mechanics of the Bendemption would work practically. Do you know what I mean? How do you... He's still got to go to jail. Do you know what I mean?
But we have a lot of redemption arcs, and none of them have been jailed, you know? So I think there's a lot of ways to go about it. I mean, we don't have 4 hours for me to talk about this, but I think there's ways that aren't just put him in jail, you know?
Yeah. What kind of jail would hold him?
A hug.
Oh, yeah.
He'd have to willingly go to it. It'd be part of his redemption is he had to accept that he
It's just John Boyega holds him, hugs him forever.
Would
and
they just dump him on Octo?
That's not a jail. That's a warm, happy hug.
Yeah. The thing is, he could, we think it's going to be redemption, but it could have been a Snape the whole time.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of that.
No, I know,
I don't
but
like the idea of that. I think
Courtney's that's a twist redemption, isn't it?
Courtney's got a jail getting ready in Burbank, California.
Yeah,
it's valid.
How do you keep him in jail? Cutting his arms off first, obviously.
Yeah, it's gonna go.
Can't cut your way out of jail if you ain't got no arms. I didn't think about that, did you?
Our beloved friend who's moved to Florida, Corey Van Dyke, the Making Star Wars guest. This is Corey, and to be honest, my prediction is that an 8th season of the Clone Wars will be announced. Mark these words, it will happen. Now, if you know Corey, it's a very on-brand prediction.
Bless his heart.
We've got Dan Z from Coffee with Kenobi. He predicts that episode 9 will shatter box office records and be the #1 film in 2019, beating Avengers Endgame. Ooh. He adds it will be the 3rd highest grossing film of all time And Star Wars is back will be the new fandom flag for at least 2 months. Love it. And we've got another audio prediction from a podcasting friend.
Hey, Steele, this is Brian with the Full of Sith podcast and all over the internet, Swankmatron on Twitter. And my prediction for 2019 is that fandom will be healed. Those people that were disaffected by The Last Jedi, toxic and non-toxic alike, will, finally be able to move on to something that they do like or focus on the parts of Star Wars that they do love and not seek out anyone to argue with them about the content of the film, and that those of us who did love it will be left in peace and be able to enjoy it on our own terms. So that's my prediction, or hope at least, for 2019. Keep up the good work, and Happy New Year.
That was such a question. Happy New Year, I guess.
Maybe he's wondering if we have New Year's in Australia.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a cultural thing. I hope. I kind of think
it's still the year 1 in Australia right now. We just never flipped it over.
Dare you, Riley?
But you don't have New Year's. That was the joke, because you've never changed over the year.
We get to America
I was
and go,
yes-anding your bit. Don't get mad at me.
we get
We're
here and
friends.
go, oh, there's clocks here? What are these clock calendars? This is bullshit.
And this is the thing that episode 9, like, I think the challenge it has, and it's to make a film that makes Star Wars fans like all the other films more. Like, whether it's like, the prequels or the original trilogy, or because I like watching Solo, I sort of appreciated, like, when I watched Empire Strikes Back again, I got like a little bit more out of it, seeing Lando and Han and going, oh, that's really cool. So if J.J. Abrams can make Star Wars fans like the other Star Wars films more, it's more sort of connected and stuff, and you sort of see the point of what happened in different films, then it's a very hard task, but if he does it, I salute you, JJ. I salute you. Then we have got Austin with a prediction. Kylo Ren will die at the hands of the Knights of Ren. Interesting. So thank you to all our predictors. There is, I'm actually dizzy thinking of all the, I consider them, I almost consider them like rumors. Yeah. So I'm just like, oh man, I don't see how that balances up. But anyway.
Some zingers in there.
And it's all just like 100 different people's opinions.
Yeah, I reckon.
It can't happen.
Yeah.
But that was super fun. Let's go through the panel's predictions. You've heard them all. And now you get to add your own to the pile. Producer Rashad, what you got?
Somebody kind of mentioned it earlier before, but what I'm kind of thinking is Hux will stage a successful coup, a military coup of the First Order, and take the throne or the title of Supreme Leader. And Kylo will run tail between his legs, realizing the folly of his ways, back to the Resistance, and helps them to take down the First Order.
Interesting. Bartholomew.
Ewok Jedi.
So confident.
Yeah, it's going to happen. I'm taking this whole thing home.
Riley.
I think that Kylo will have a redemption story, and I think that when he does, he will actually end up getting a different beam for his lightsaber as well. I think a different crystal will actually be ignited.
Interesting.
Like a new color?
Maybe.
Wait.
Yeah.
Like a new...
And I think Rey's lightsaber is going to be built from the pieces of the broken one, obviously, and I think she will have a kind of like the same kind of blade like his, where it's like fractured and stuff.
Yeah.
Because of
I like that a lot.
Interesting. That visually will look amazing if they fight with like two like sort of angry blades. Courtney.
I'm actually not going to do an episode 9 prediction. I want to change it up. I think Maul and Kira are going to be in the Lando show because they need to finish that story arc, because I'm mad they didn't.
In the what show?
The Lando series. That they'll make a Lando like miniseries for the and they'll eventually have a Maul and Kira. They'll finish that story arc.
In an arc. Okay, I like that you just also flippantly predicted a Lando series.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are mentioning it, so I'm just
really
like...
bearing the
I
lead
can see
on that
happen.
one.
Yeah. Well, I think no matter what, I think either because Maul and Kira could have their own series, but I think they'll definitely make a live action appearance in one of these miniseries on the Disney streaming servers.
Nice. I like that one because I just want to see Ray Park being more Star Wars actory. My prediction is that by the end of episode 9, Rey has a last name, and it's not her original last name, but she will take on the surname of Skywalker.
All right.
And it'll be pretty good. And she can have a green lightsaber, whatever. Before we read out the final prediction, big round of applause for all our guests. Let's do some plugs. Rashad, where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter at iQasem, IQASEM, and you can follow my podcast, Will Communication, at WillCompod on Twitter.
Very nice. And thank you for all your help.
Always.
This would not be together if you weren't here giving us a hand. So I really appreciate that, buddy.
It's my pleasure, buddy.
Bartholomew.
At Bartlol, Bartlol, Twitter and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So stand-up is in Australia. If you come to Australia, come watch me do stand-up comedy.
Nice.
Otherwise, I'll just be in America eating your hamburgers.
Riley.
You can find me on Twitter at Riley J. Silverman and Instagram at Riley Silverman. And if I can cross fandoms for just a second, we are launching next week a new Doctor Who live play role-playing game podcast that will be starting up on the 16th of January called The Game of Rassilon. And it's going to be, if you guys have ever listened to the Adventure Zone podcast, it's going to be very similar in tone to that. But we're playing the official Doctor Who role-playing game.
That sounds awesome.
So I'm really excited about it.
It's really cool.
And we actually record it right here at the same studio. We're filming the same building. We're recording this episode today. So
Oh, nice.
We film it in the game room over in Geekities.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And Courtney.
I'm Courtney. I am one of the co-hosts of Who Talks First. You can find me on Twitter at Who Talks First. I also run a fandom store called Squadron Goals.
Now, our final prediction, which I did take a sneak peek at during the week, and this is like the best written prediction I have ever come across.
Is that the opening scroll to a movie? Because look how much text is in that
lot,
email
yeah.
that was sent to you.
It's a few paragraphs there.
Pretty much. This is from Becca Benjamin, who does the Tarkin's Top Shelf podcast. She also writes for Fantha Tracks, and she actually just did this recent article about the Force that Ryan Johnson complimented her on. This is her prediction that we'll close with. Wow. Another Star Wars trilogy is about to come to an end, and that in itself is the end of an era. Yes, every generation has a story. The originals had theirs, and so did the prequel trilogy, and such will be the same for the sequels. It is so surreal and exciting, yet at the same time, melancholy. Perhaps like Luke, I'm a tad cynical in my old age. After all, I've grown up with the Skywalkers, and like Cassian Andor, I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. Excellent. That said, I've been asked by Steele to share my episode 9 prediction with you, and trust me, I've given this a lot of thought, so buckle up. Ever since I knew the sequel trilogy was in the making, I daydreamed about how it would all play out. My heart and mind almost always came back to one specific character, Leia. Force. How I hoped so hard to see Leia wield a lightsaber, to see her in action and be a real match or equal to her brother and anyone else that posed a threat to her. And thankfully, Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi gave us most of that. Still, there's just one more thing I've wanted for Leia more than anything. Closure. Closure in the form of healing the galaxy and from the evil tyranny that is known as the First Order. In addition to that, give Leia the big moment she so rightly deserves. Allow her to become the Redeemer and save the light within her son, Ben Solo, and break the shadow that has cursed their family throughout the generations. And that, folks, is not only my prediction, but my only hope. You see, Luke foreshadowed this a long time ago on a wooden bridge on the moon of Endor when he said, "The Force is strong in my family. My father has it, I have it, and my sister has it. Yes, it's you, Leia. Yes, Leia, as it should be." A pretty sweet prediction.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys so much. We will be doing our 200th show on the 2nd of February at the Scum and Villainy Cantina with a very exciting interview guest. So I hope you guys join us there. Thanks so much for coming. Give us a round of applause for our guests.
Thank you so much. I'm Steele Saunders, and may that force be with you. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss a Steele Wars video. And if you listen to audio podcasts, make sure you check out the award-winning Steele Wars podcast available at steelewars.com, iTunes, and wherever good or bad podcasts are downloaded.